Hustle culture is the perfect cover for a man who is secretly afraid to face the silence. For 20 years, you told yourself the same lie. Just one more push, just one more launch, just one more year of grinding it out, and then I'll slow down. Then I'll be the dad I want to be. Then I'll finally take that breath. But the finish line is a ghost. Every time you get close to it, it moves another mile down the road. You've hit the revenue goals. You've built the team. You've won the awards, and yet you're still running like someone is chasing you. Walking away from the grind isn't a retreat. It isn't laziness. And it definitely isn't losing your edge. It's an act of survival. Today, I want to talk to you about how I stopped running that race and why my business, my marriage, and my sanity actually started to thrive the moment I quit trying to hustle my way to wholeness. There's a specific moment that happens on Sunday nights for most entrepreneurs and high achievers. It's 8:30 p.m. The weekend is technically still happening. You're sitting in your favorite chair. Maybe a game is on and your family is nearby. Then you sense some friction. The sudden, heavy arrival of the work week. It's like a phantom itch to check the email, just to get a head start. Then your mood shifts. You go from being a dad to being the CEO in a split second. You become short, distracted, and mentally miles away. You've been told this is a commitment, and I'm telling you it's a symptom of a nervous system that has forgotten how to be off duty. See, when you're 25, the hustle feels like a superpower. But the reality is, when you're 45, it starts to feel like a prison. Your body stops playing along. The sleep isn't as deep, and the recovery time is longer. The energy you used to have feels more like an anxiety now. Just take a look at social media, and you'll notice younger guys preaching the 24/7 grind. But the reality is, they don't have the responsibilities you may have: the mortgage, the employees or contractors, and perhaps kids that need a present father, family commitments throughout the week. We aren't going to talk about productivity hacks. We're going to talk about how you reclaim the soul of your business by firing the version of you that thinks he has to suffer to succeed. In your 20s, hustle was your best friend. It was the engine that got you off the ground. But somewhere along the way, the engine became the driver. You stopped using hustle to build a life and started using your life to feed the hustle. You can probably remember the early years of your business, the late nights, the cold pizza, coming home and just having a plate ready for you in the refrigerator and then heating it up. We'll do whatever it takes energy. And the reality is, back then, it was necessary. It was what was needed to build the foundation, to get the business running, and to get it operating well. You might have been the hardest worker in the room, and you probably wore that as a badge of honor. I know I did. You would feel proud of 60 to 70 plus hour weeks, even while your back hurts and your body aches and your eyes are bloodshot. You know, the reality is, what got you here will not get you there. The truth is, the skills of a startup entrepreneur or business person are often the very things that kill a mature business owner. Most entrepreneurs experience the just one more syndrome. It's a mental loop that keeps you chained to your desk. The most dangerous phrase in an entrepreneur's vocabulary is just until this launch is over, just until we hit the revenue goal, just until the kids are out of the house. We treat our lives like a debt we'll pay back later, but the interest rate is higher than you think. We struggle with moving goalposts. Think about the $1 million goal that you had that became a $5 million goal or a $10 million revenue goal. And even as you hit these milestones, there could be a hollow feeling, and you immediately begin to look at, what is the next milestone? What is the next goal I need to hit? You may experience being tired most of the time, or being kind of short and intense with your team, or snapping at your wife, or just being impatient with your kids. The way of going about business affects other areas of your life. Hustle culture doesn't just steal your time, it steals your capacity for joy. But there is a fear of stopping, and it's like a secret fear deep down inside that you feel that you would be lazy if you stop. If you stop the 60 to 70 hour work weeks, if you stop the intensity in your drive. The reason you can't quit the hustle is that you're terrified of what's left when you stop. If you aren't the guy who fixes everything, who are you? We've tied our worth so tightly to our output that stillness feels like an identity death. And most of us as entrepreneurs can experience the hero complex. It's the need to be needed. It's the need to get things done and be the one who gets it done. And that need to be needed is actually an addiction. It's like we get a dopamine hit or a rush when we get a 10 p.m. text that only we can handle. And we also struggle with the laziness slide. We feel that we would be lazy if we wanted a 4-day work week or a quiet morning. But here's the question: is your business actually fragile, or are you just convinced that it is? There's also the relational bill. You think you're hustling for your family, but your family would trade the extra revenue for your presence in a heartbeat. They don't need a more successful version of you. They need the whole version of you. You don't want to be the dad or the husband who's physically there but mentally gone. Have you noticed the look on your child's face or your spouse's face or significant other's face when you look at your watch or you look at your phone again? Or there's an empty stare as you're still thinking about a problem that you need to solve at work. I know this personally. Sometimes I recognize it myself and I feel bad. I feel guilty that I'm thinking about work and I'm not really present into conversations. I'm hearing my wife tell me about her day or one of my kids talk about something at the dinner table. And I'm actually having a dialogue with myself regarding a problem that needs to be solved or what needs to be done. The greatest gift that we can give ourselves and give those around us who love us and care about us is just being fully present. And there really is a wear and tear on our soul and the guilt and feeling bad about what we're doing in our relationships. And then there's the legacy lie. We tell ourselves we're building a legacy, but a legacy of busy is not what people remember at a funeral. They remember the moments of connection, the moments of being present with one another, the moments of creating and building memories. I can remember sometimes conversations around the table where my wife or one or two of my children were talking, and I totally missed out. I had no idea what they were talking about, and it felt terrible that I was just out of the loop. And that's when the hustle eye began to crumble for me. Not only was I missing out, I had a realization that I was becoming a stranger in my own home. I had to take a deep, hard look at what was all this busyness actually getting me. And then I began to think about auditing my time. What did my days and weeks look like? What was I actually doing? And was everything I was doing, was it necessary? I like to offer you an alternative. Quitting the hustle culture doesn't mean you stop being successful. It means you stop being frantic. It means you stop being always stressed and you replace the grind with rhythm. You start leading from a place of alignment where the business serves your life and your life is actually worth living. The reality is, a business with no margin is a business that is one mistake away from collapse or falling apart in some way. The truth is, margin is a leadership strategy. We need margin in place. We need to give ourselves mental space and thinking time, time to set aside to actually think about the business and contemplate what needs to happen, what is working, what isn't working. But if we're always busy doing the busy work, if we're the one that always has to do everything or be in control, or if we're just running around doing all the things, the question is, are we doing the right things? Are we just working hard or are we working smart? Creating margin is an operational necessity so you can work smart and be the best version of yourself as you run your company and you engage your work life. So I encourage you to think about, how do you need margin in your work week? How do you need margin to start your week, to really look at what you're doing for that week? What kind of margin do you need to plan well? And how about having just some margin 2 or 3 times during each day, just so you can breathe and have a fresh look at things? But the best kind of margin is giving yourself some space where you do not have the phone is off, you're not listening to a podcast, you're not trying to learn something. You're not filling any space, but you might be going for a walk. You might just walk outside in your backyard if you're working at home, or just walk into the parking lot if you're in an office building, or walk around the building. But I would encourage you to create some space and just allow yourself to be, and do that a couple times a day. And then there's the power of Sabbath rhythms. Most of us are unfamiliar with the power of a 24-hour no-fly zone with no phone, no work, or no thinking about work. The first few hours are hard, but the clarity comes after. The following day, when you re engage work, you'll find yourself having more clarity, having more fresh energy, and just more alive inside. There's a reason why faith communities encourage Sabbath rest or taking one day out of 7 days. So if you work hard 6 days a week, or even if you work 5 days a week very hard, maybe you work Saturday mornings and you take the rest of the day off on Saturday, you're still working on that day. But how about if you take Sundays off, the day before Monday, and you're able to let everything go? And one way of doing that is just previewing, or really, I should say, reviewing the work that you've done throughout the day or throughout the week, and then previewing what's next and writing it all down and letting it go. Just letting it be there. When you're ready to work again, you'll come back to that. It's almost like having an assistant, and that note or that place that you're organizing is taking care of that for you, and your mind can let go of that. But I encourage you to give yourself the gift of Sabbath rest and create a rhythm of having a day off that's truly a day off so you can be the best version of yourself. And I like to encourage you with an awareness step to start noticing that hustle voice before it takes over. What you want to do is catch the urge to just check one more thing. There'll always be just one more thing. And we don't have to check for it. It'll be there waiting for us when we get back to it. We need a new metric for success. What is one thing you're going to say no to this week to reclaim 5 minutes of your life? I like to leave you with a new version of what it means to win. True success isn't a revenue number that costs you your soul. True success is waking up without a knot in your stomach. It's being able to sit down on your porch and feel nothing but gratitude. The hustle served its purpose for a season, but that season is over. It's time to come home to yourself. If you watch this far, it's likely because you recognize the pace you're keeping isn't just a work style. It's becoming a weight you can't carry anymore. But I know personally that after 20 years of hustle, you can't just flip a switch and be at peace. It feels awkward. It feels wrong. It's hard to break a 2-decade habit of noise when you're trying to do it alone in the same environment that created the stress. That's why I put together something called the Calm in 7 Challenge. It isn't a master class, and it definitely isn't another productivity system to add to your to-do list. It's just a 7-day window where I walk you through few very short grounded practices designed to help you interrupt the stress loop. We aren't doing 5 a.m. cold plunges or complex rituals. We're just creating a small wedge between you and the noise so you can start to see what's actually true about your life and your business. If you're ready to see if there's a different rhythm available to you, the link is in the description. Common 7 Challenge is free, and it's a simple way to start the work we talked about today. I'd love to see you in there. This is Dr. Sean. Make it a great day.